Welcome everybody to this week one recap here on Region Sports Desk. We're going to go over all the high school games in the area this week, and we're also going to reveal our top 10 list. And Joe, why don't you tell them about our...
we got a brand new colleague joining us today, Meanie Mike Steggy coming in.
He's our new expert.
Our expert analysis here.
Analyst. Absolutely.
He's going to run us. He's going to give us a great rundown.
Run down those scores for us, Mike.
All right, gentlemen. Week 1 scores. We have Penn taking on Valpo 21-0 over the Vikings. Lowell 19 over Crown Point 0. Chesterton 44 over Lew Wallace 0. Andrain 63, Bishop Knoll 0. Munster 28, Lake Central 10. Morton 20, Griffith 0. Wheeler at Highland. What was the score in that game? That was a late game.
It was 40-something to like 6 or something like that.
It was a blowout.
Rensselaer 34, Kincaid Valley 7. Portage 26, Mishawaka Marion 0. LaVille 17, South Central 13. LaPorte 41, New Prairie 6. Michigan City 16. Michigan City 63, Roosevelt 0. Hobart 34, Westside 13. Lake Station at North White.
North White blew them, I think it was like 51-0.
Bowman 20 over River Forest 8. Bowman's first win in school history. Clark 28, Whiting 21. Gavitt, Calumet, another late game.
Not really sure what happened with that game, honestly.
Hammond 32, East Chicago Central 12. South Newton over North Newton 43-27. And today's game, Warren Central taking on the Maryville Pirates. Gentlemen, why don't you tell them about that?
Well, as our buddy Wayne had predicted, he said, you know, Warren Central was in for a whooping. Maryville was going to come in there and beat the tar out of them, and, you know, of course, I knew that they weren't going to do that. We all knew they weren't going to do that, and that's exactly what happened. The first half was good, Joe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. 14-7 first half. Maryville kept it close, but I believe it was all probably one big adrenaline rush. The fact they're playing the #1 team in the state. So that's all that was. Second half, Maryville showed us who they really were.
Yeah. Denzel Pierce got hurt in the first quarter. Maryville really didn't get much of a run game going anyway. Raspovich, he started off pretty well. He threw 2 touchdown passes, threw a couple interceptions in the second half. But basically, the second half, I mean, the talent of the depth chart really showed. As Warren Central just pounded Maryville's defense down, and Shakir Bell absolutely ran wild. I think he ran for probably about 150 yards.
Probably more like 300.
The defense of Maryville showed up the first half. Derek Hart threw 2 interceptions. They were very key. At least one of them was while they were driving downfield. Like I said before, the first half was basically a good game, 14-7 at half. But then, start of the third quarter, Warren Central scores 3 times within 5 minutes at the beginning of the third quarter, and then it went downhill from there for the Pirates.
Basically, Maryville couldn't stop Warren Central's offense. It was mostly mistakes made by Hart that really kept Maryville in the game in the first half. That's what kept the game close. Warren Central drove down the field probably 4 or 5 times, but you know, they got stopped by interceptions. There was a block in the back inside the 10-yard line, and that's what really kept Maryville close in the first half. But you know, just
Win factor too.
3 touchdowns in 5 minutes to start the third quarter. I mean, it was basically over after that happened. So.
All right, let's talk about our game of the week that we thought was going to be a really good game of the week, and that's our #1 team, Valpo Vikings, taking on Penn Kingsmen.
Look, it was basically just a battle of the trenches. Penn absolutely manhandled Valpo. You know, the concerns that Valpo had coming into the season were definitely their offensive and defensive lines. They had a lot of inexperience, and it really showed against a very good Penn squad. Penn's front absolutely dominated them, and Valpo really had a hard time moving the ball in the first half, and they got behind, and they just never could really get the ball rolling offensively.
Yeah, Livich played that whole game probably from his back there. Talk about our upset of the week.
Look, every week that we're going to come out with this new megaphone, it's going to go to the team that either maybe upset somebody or maybe came out of nowhere, someone we didn't really think had a chance to win. Morton was a team who really, doubted their chances at the Bowman.
Go Governor!
We doubted their chances at Griffith, okay? But they really came out and they took it to the Panthers. They didn't give up a single point, and they beat them up front. And Griffith, really shows that they have some of the same problems Valpo has with a lot of inexperience up front. Also, Ed Johnson didn't even play in the game. That was another factor, but
I don't think one man would have made that big of a difference.
They just got dominated up front. I mean, that's what it all came down to, don't you think?
Talk about for Morton to go into the Boneyard and put up a shutout against Griffith. It says a lot about their team. So watch out for Morton Governors making a run this year.
Well, they'll have a chance to prove it this week.
Our number 4 team, our Portage Indians, the game we all went to, Portage versus the Mishawaka Knights, Marion Knights. Portage came with a big victory, 26-0. Defense looked impressive. Offense looked equally impressive. Dixon, big 30-yard touchdown run on the first play of the game. Houston also looked equally impressive, running and throwing for both 102 yards. Ran for 2, threw for 1. What are you guys taking on the game?
I was really impressed with Portage's defense. Mishawaka Marion really, they had a difficult time running against Portage's front. Their defensive tackle played great, but I mean the linebacking core, Benia, Ryan, those guys really stepped up. A lot of tackles. Mishawaka Marion really never had a serious threat to score. The rains came in the third quarter, and Portage basically coasted the victory. So
tell you what, my hat goes off to Zach Houston. He had a lot of doubters coming into the season, not only with his play.
Don't hide.
Not only with his play, but also the fact that the past 2 seasons, each season, the first game, he's been injured with season-ending injuries. So for him to be able to come off with the win and literally come off the field healthy was a big.
That's an extra bonus.
It's nice to have a quarterback that can actually run this offense.
Yes. All right, so this is going to bring us to this week's updated top 10 going into week 2. Start off the top 10. We got the Holbrook Brickies. They were number 8. Now they dropped 2 spots after they struggled with Gary Westside.
Wasn't really impressed with Holbrook this
No,
week.
not at all. Our number 9 team might be a little surprised, maybe a little too high there. Wheeler Bearcats. They're not ranked last week. Now they're moved up into our number 9 spot. 8. Munster Mustangs, and also a team that wasn't ranked, had a pretty impressive victory over Lake Central.
That's always a tough game. The first game, that's one of the big rivals, and they played impressive in that game. Justin Gill had a huge game. I don't know how many. He had a couple touchdown catches, but I think he had over 100 yards receiving. He had a big day.
Our number 1 team, the Valpo Vikings, slide all the way down to 7. An offensive line just can't get the job done. They're dropped down to 7.
They're going to struggle a few weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time for them really to mesh, for their line to mesh. But I think once it happens, they're going to get better. They're going to get better as the season goes along.
Our team moved up. Most spots moved up. Most improved team, the Morton Governors.
Rightfully so.
Went from number 9 all the way to number 6.
Putting the shutout to Griffith in the Boneyard, you're right, it does show a lot about them, and maybe they can possibly move up as the season progresses.
Also, Andrean, they move up 2 spots. Andrean goes to number 5 from number 7.
Absolutely obliterated Bishop Knoll.
Portage stays right at number 4. Like I said, we did exactly what they expected to do, go in, win a game pretty decisively over at the Marion Knights of Mishawaka, so they'll stay right at number 4.
And Michigan City leapfrogs Portage and goes to number 3 after that big win against powerhouse Gary Roosevelt.
Yeah, we definitely didn't see that coming at all. Harmon only had 3 carries in the game, but 2 of them went for touchdowns. Then we go number 2. We each have a first place vote, and one of us voted Chesterton as the number 1 team, but we kind of outweigh him. So.
And move up to our number 1 team of the week, the Bowman Academy Eagles. I know that's a big jump, but still, they're number 1.
Whoa! Wait a second.
We're so full of it. And no, number 1, of course, is those Red Devils from Lowell. They go to number 2, and now back up to number 1. They might be in that spot for a very short period of time.
They were impressive. They shut out Crown Point just like they did last season. I got to talk a little bit about Wayne Svetnoff here, okay? We're going to have this little thing going between me and him, okay? Me against Wayne. I'm going to pick one game against him every week. This week, I win.
That's 1 for JT money. We're going to be at Hammond next week, folks. Hammond, come support your Governors. They're going to take on the Lowell Red Devils.
We'll have our
or if we come back in a couple days, check back a couple days, we're going to have the week 2 picks.
Yep. See you next video.